Hello and welcome. The big story of the day. The Uttar Pradesh Anti-Terrorism Squad has arrested 2 Al-Qaeda terrorists. According to the UP police, the unit busted in Uttar Pradesh planned terror attacks in crowded areas of Lucknow and other cities in the state. 2 men, both residents of Lucknow, have been arrested as part of the operation, the police said.
ATS की हमारी टीम ने अल-कायदा समर्थित अंसार गजवातुल हिंद से जुड़े 2 आतंकियों को गिरफ्तार किया है। पूछताछ के दौरान हिरासत में लिए गए अभियुक्तों द्वारा अपने सहयोगियों के घर से भाग जाने की बात बताई गई है तथा इन दोनों व्यक्तियों को माननीय न्यायालय के समक्ष प्रस्तुत किया जाएगा।
And the National Investigating Agency, or the NIA, conducted multiple raids across Jammu and Kashmir in connection with a terror funding case. The raids took place a day after 11 Jammu and Kashmir government employees, including 2 sons of the most wanted terrorist Syed Salahuddin, were removed for their alleged involvement in terror funding activities.
Multiple raids by National Investigation Agency in Kashmir to unearth suspected terror modules linked to ISIS and other terrorist groups. At least 5 suspects have been detained in Anantnag as NIA sleuths conducted simultaneous searches in Srinagar, Anantnag and Baramulla. The raids have come a day after the J&K administration sacked 11 government employees for alleged terror links. Among them are 2 sons of POK-based terrorist leader Syed Salahuddin, Syed Shakil and Syed Shahid. Both are already in custody after being arrested by the NIA in 2018 and 2019 on charges of terror funding. The BJP has welcomed the decision.
लगातार मिलिटेंसी को हवा देने में, उनको सपोर्ट करने में, पाकिस्तान के एजेंट के रूप में जो काम कर रहे थे, उन पर एक्शन लिया गया है, उनको नौकरी से निकाला गया है। इसमें सलाहुद्दीन के 2 बेटे भी हैं जिनके हाथ खून से रंगे हैं और जो पहले सरकारें रही इनको कहीं ना कहीं सपोर्ट करती रही। आज पुलिस के लोगों को भी निकाला गया है।
But its former ally PDP alleges that government employees are being sacked on flimsy grounds, and it is a part of the centre's plan to disempower people under the garb of nationalism. Since April this year, the Union Territory Administration has sacked 18 government employees using Article 311 of the Constitution. Under the law, employees are being fired in the interest of state security and no inquiry is required. Razia Sultan, a head teacher in Anantnag district, is among the 11 sacked in the interest of the security of the state. No reason has been given for her sacking. The order issued by the Union Territory government says it's not expedient to hold an inquiry in the case of Miss Razia Sultan, a head teacher in Government Middle School Khiram, Anantnag. Ironically, Razia was appointed on compassionate grounds after her father was killed by unknown gunmen 20 years ago.
I am surprised, rather shocked to know about the termination of my services. I strongly object to the accusations, which are baseless and imaginary. I have been never involved in any undesirable or unlawful activities during my entire life. I request the state government to provide me the details as I absolutely know nothing about my case.
Among the sacked is also a policeman, Abdul Rashid Shigan, who was arrested by the police in 2012 for allegedly carrying out a series of terrorist attacks and setting up terror modules in Srinagar.
The employees say dismissal orders issued by the UT administration are unilateral and they were not given a chance to explain themselves. Since April this year, the J&K administration is invoking a law where no inquiry is required to sack an employee in the interest of security of state. In Srinagar, Nazir Masoodi, 5ND-TV.
And around 50 diplomats and other staff members at the consulate in Afghanistan's Kandahar have been evacuated. This in view of the intense fighting near Kandahar city. The fighting that started as the Taliban tries to regain control over the country as the US pulls out its forces after nearly 2 decades. Now, the personnel at the consulate were flown to Delhi last evening by Special Air Force planes, which avoided Pakistani airspace. India is closely monitoring the evolving security situation in Afghanistan. The safety and security of our personnel is paramount, the Foreign Ministry has said in a statement.
India has been a major partner, and India can play a very constructive role. India can play a role in our peace process, together with other responsible regional actors like Iran and Russia. India can, utilizing its convening power, to put more pressure on Taliban through diplomatic channels, to come to the negotiating table and put an end to the violence.
And Mumbai's seaport seemed to have become the new drug corridor for international smugglers. The Delhi police have said that they've busted an international drug cartel with the arrest of 4 men, including an Afghan national and 2 Punjab residents over the last week. And they've discovered 354 kgs of heroin in raids in Delhi, Faridabad and Gurgaon. The police traced the cartel's operational footprint across Portugal, Afghanistan, Iran and India, with the drugs reaching Mumbai from Iran's Chabahar port. The police say it is the force's biggest haul in at least 10 years. On the 3rd of July, the DRI, or the Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, had seized about 293 kgs of heroin from some containers at the Nhava Sheva port in Navi Mumbai. Even in this case, preliminary findings suggested that the containers had originated from Iran and were imported to India from Afghanistan by Punjab Sandhu exports. The contraband was being smuggled disguised as a talcum powder consignment. Meanwhile, vaccine shortage issues continue to be reported from across India, with several vaccination centers being shut due to shortages. And this at a time when India is trying hard to halt a possible third wave.
Despite the centre's promises of improved supply, the shortage continues, with vaccination centres across the country being closed at a time when India needs to ramp up its daily vaccinations to face the anticipated third wave. 51-year-old R.K. Madan is among many in Delhi who are being turned away from government vaccination centres. The city, which administers 1.5 lakh doses daily, vaccinated only 79,000 people on Saturday, as it has doses left only for a day. And on Sunday, even the few centres that were still open on Saturday were closed.
मुझे 1 हफ्ता हो गया, मैं लगातार ट्राई कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पर. जब भी आते कहते आज नहीं है, कल आना जी, परसों आना जी. पिछली बार जब फर्स्ट डे आया था तब कह रहे थे आप बेटर यही है कि 10-15 दिन के बाद आकर पता करो. मैंने कहा हमारी तो जो ड्यू डेट है उसके बाद हमें पता नहीं ना कि कब तक वैलिड है या नहीं है. सरकार से तो हम यही कहना चाहेंगे कि जैसा वो क्लेम करते हैं उस प्रकार से आगे की परफॉर्मेंस नहीं है.
While Maharashtra tops the vaccination chart after vaccinating 3.63 crore people so far, even their vaccine supply is irregular. While many towns in the state continue the drive, state capital Mumbai stopped vaccinating at public-run centres since Friday, the third halt in July. BMC says it will resume the drive from Monday. Kolkata has been vaccinating nearly 60,000 people daily, but government vaccine centres were shut on Sunday and will be shut on Monday too due to shortage. On Friday and Saturday, only those due for a second dose were vaccinated. Chennai has resumed vaccinations today after suspending it for the past few days. The state received 5 lakh Covishield doses last night, but these will last only a day. So far, the state with a 7 crore population has administered just 1.74 crore doses, and only 4% of the population has taken both doses. The centre, on the other hand, issued a clarification this week about reports of shortage and said that all states have been informed much in advance about the doses that will be available to them during the month of July, and they have been advised to plan their vaccination sessions accordingly.
In order to vaccinate even 60% of India's population with both doses by the end of this year, the government should be carrying out 88 lakh vaccinations per day. But currently it is carrying out about 34 lakh. And this shortfall is mainly due to lack of supplies. Bureau report for NDTV.
Meanwhile, rising fuel prices across India are impacting the common man's pockets, at a time when the COVID-induced pandemic is already eating up savings, taking away livelihoods. Petrol and diesel prices have now seen a sharp spike. In the national capital, petrol is at 100 rupees 95 paise per litre, diesel at 89 rupees 92 paise per litre. Meanwhile, do our ministers care? Well, here's one MP minister's bizarre response to rising fuel prices. The Science and Technology Minister of Madhya Pradesh, when asked about the surge in fuel prices, simply had this to say, that if you don't have troubles, how will you enjoy the good times? Listen in for yourself.
जिंदगी में परेशानी ही सुख का आनंद देती है। जब तक एक भी परेशानी नहीं आए तो सुख का आनंद भी नहीं आता है।
तो नहीं है मोदी जी की नीति फेल हो गई हो, स्टार्टिंग में आए थे उन्होंने कहा
ये आप जैसे अफवाह फैलाने वाले लोगों की सोच हो सकती है, लेकिन जनता अंधविश्वास पे और मोदी जी की हल नीति, जिस कांग्रेस के बारे में आप सोचते हैं जिसे 40 साल केवल पोलियो की ड्रॉप पिलाने में लगा, उसके बदले में एक साल में बनाने से लेके पूरी जनता को लगाने का संकल्प और विश्वास मोदी जी ने किया।
These ministers are supposed to look out for the public's welfare. Moving on, the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal today Sunday gave a big boost to the Aam Aadmi Party's poll campaign in Uttarakhand, announcing some major election promises and also lashing out against its bigger rivals, the BJP and the Congress. Among his party's offers to the state's people, the most important ones focused on electricity, promising no power cuts, 300 free units every month for each household, a waiver of earlier bills and, of course, free supply to farmers. The AAP national convener cited his party's performance in Delhi to tell voters that they need to avoid the BJP and the Congress, which, according to him, are only after power and not development.
आज बिजली के क्षेत्र में 4 बातों की गारंटी देके जा रहा हूं। पहली चीज, जैसे दिल्ली में करके दिखाया, वैसे ही उत्तराखंड के अंदर हमारी सरकार बनेगी। 300 यूनिट बिजली तक हर परिवार को मुफ्त बिजली दी जाएगी। तो दूसरी बात, पुराने बिल माफ किए जाएंगे, पुराने बिल नहीं देने पड़ेंगे, एक नए सिरे से शुरुआत की जाएगी। तीसरी चीज, कोई पावर कट नहीं लगेगा। दिल्ली में करके दिखाया हमने। उत्तराखंड में 24 घंटे बिजली देंगे।
देखिए, हम अच्छी बिजली वहां पर दे रहे हैं और पहले से भी उत्तराखंड की जनता चाहती है कि वहां पर बिजली अच्छी मिले, बिजली सस्ती मिले। वो दोनों काम हम कर रहे हैं। 24 घंटे वहां पर उत्तराखंड में बिजली मिल रही है।
And Twitter India has appointed an Indian national as its officer for grievances redressal required under the new digital rules of India. On its website, Twitter named Vinay Prakash as its resident grievance officer and provided an email contact ID for him. The appointment comes amidst a huge standoff with the government that's been going on since March, when the new rules came into effect. And Twitter also released its transparency report that says that Twitter does not tolerate harassment, threats, dehumanizing behavior. Its monthly compliance report covers data from the 26th of May till the 25th of June, and that 37 complaints were received by the grievance officer. Of these, 20 were about defamation and 1 about manipulated media. Twitter acted upon 132 tweets related to these complaints.